Welcome along to The Deep Dive. It's great to have you with us today. We're doing something a bit special, plunging headfirst into the absolutely captivating world of rugby. Specifically, this is your Rugby Obsession Deep Dive. Our mission really is to unpack some of the strategy, the incredible passion, and, the whole huge ecosystem around the sport is what makes it so compelling, especially with big events like the British and Irish Lions Tour coming up. We're drawing on an article from Rugby365.com today, looking at the Wallabies and that upcoming Lions clash. We'll be pulling out some really important nuggets for you. And hey, if this kind of deep dive into rugby's drama and strategy grabs you, you should definitely subscribe to Rugby Obsession. Honestly, you won't want to miss out on more content like this. So let's set the scene a bit. There's a definite buzz right now, isn't there, around the British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's not just any old tour. It's pretty rare, a massive event in the rugby calendar. Brings a unique kind of excitement.
It really does.
It makes you wonder about all the negotiations behind the scenes to even make these huge tours happen.
Yeah, and what's fascinating here, I think, is that these Lions tours, they're about so much more than just the big test matches everyone focuses on.
Right.
The warm-up games, they play an absolutely crucial strategic role. These aren't just, run-outs to shake off rust. They're where coaching ideas get tested under fire, where combinations are tried out. For the Lions, especially, pulling players from different nations, they have to build that cohesion fast.
So it's like a high-pressure testing ground.
Exactly. Finding out who can handle the mental pressure of that test arena. It's high-stakes chemistry, really.
That's a really important point. And this whole focus on the warm-ups leads us straight into something interesting that happened this week, affecting the Wallabies prep.
Yeah.
We saw headlines that the Queensland Reds got a, quote, boost for their game against the Lions next Wednesday. And that boost, well, it's the release of Matt Faessler and Hunter Paisami from the Wallaby squad, specifically to play in that match. The Reds are the second provincial side to face the Lions, after the Western Force played them just this past weekend.
Right, I saw that.
And what's interesting is the Force kept 5 of their Wallaby stars for that game, but the Reds, they only got these 2 back.
Okay. Well, this immediately raises that important question, doesn't it? About player availability, tour agreements.
Yeah.
There's a real strategic tension here. You could feel it. Earlier this week, the Lions actually made headlines because they basically demanded that top Wallabies players had to play for their Super Rugby teams against them.
Demanded. Wow.
Their reasoning was pretty clear. They need these warm-ups to be genuinely competitive. Proper preparation for the test series. It's about keeping those lead-up games meaningful.
Makes sense from their side. In fact, Ben Calverley, the Lions chief exec, he was quite direct. He said, let me get the quote right, "We'll see a competitive fixture at the weekend against the Force, and that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
We want to make sure our guys are battle-hardened when it comes to the test series." The agreement is very clear. It says that test players have to be released to play in fixtures leading into that series. That is our expectation.
That's pretty unambiguous. Very clear demand. But looking at it from the Wallabies side, doesn't that put them in a really tough spot?
It potentially could, yeah.
Aren't they risking injury to key guys right before the tests? Or maybe even showing their hand strategically to the Lions by having top players face them early. It feels like a balancing act.
It absolutely is.
Imagine being one of those players. Your club needs you, massive game, but the national coach is thinking about the tests. That's got to be a mental challenge.
100%. And it just underlines the complex negotiations that happen before these tours even kick off. The why it matters here has layers.
For the Lions, like Calverley said, these games are vital. Their only real chance to build combinations, test tactics, gain momentum. They need that proper opposition.
Okay.
For the Aussie teams, yes, there's an injury risk, no doubt, but it's also a massive opportunity, isn't it? Testing themselves against world-class players. Invaluable experience. And ultimately, it probably helps make the whole series more competitive, which is good for the sport in Australia long term.
So it's this delicate dance, national versus club interests.
Very much.
And it's not just unique to the Lions Tour, is it? This whole dynamic kind of reflects the incredible strategic depth you find across, the whole global tapestry of rugby.
That's a great way to put it.
Because when we talk about Rugby Obsession, we're not just talking one tour, the sheer breadth of the sport. It's actually incredible. It's like a nonstop feast for rugby fans everywhere.
It really is, year-round.
I mean, think about it. You got the intense domestic stuff, like Super Rugby down south, the English Premiership, crucial proving grounds for talent. Then the historic rivalries, like the Six Nations in Europe, and obviously the big one, the Rugby World Cup. Each tournament sort of serves its own purpose in the grand story of rugby.
Different styles, different pressures.
Exactly. Plus the Rugby Championship, European Cup, the Seventh Circuit, which is super fast, traditional cups like the Currie Cup. It really is a global game.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it just shows how deeply rugby is embedded in different cultures, different continents.
Yeah.
Look at the major nations: Argentina, Australia, England, France, Ireland, Italy, New Zealand, Scotland, South Africa, Wales. In many of these places, rugby isn't just a sport. It's part of their national identity, a real cultural touchstone. Huge pride involved.
Absolutely.
And that rugby obsession the source talked about, it covers way more than just the top men's pro games. You've got the incredible growth and visibility of women's rugby changing the whole landscape.
Which is fantastic to see.
Definitely. Then there's the speed and excitement of sevens, bringing in new fans. You've got in-depth opinion pieces, passionate coverage of schools rugby like Craven Week, the top 20 rankings nurturing stars of the future.
Yeah, the pipeline.
Exactly. Plus, deep dives into law discussions, constant news updates. It just shows how multifaceted the appeal is, how deeply people engage with the sport on every level.
It's so clear it's not just about the 80 minutes on the field. The article we're looking at really highlights this vibrant content ecosystem around rugby. It shows the depth of interest. You see it in what's trending right now in the rugby world. Like
what's catching people's eyes?
Well, for instance, the Baba Box, that's the Barbarians, right? That invitational team, often with Springboks, playing unique matches.
Always exciting games, those.
Or something like D-Day for Jake White's future confirmed. Obviously, a big coaching story in South Africa. These aren't just fleeting headlines. They're ongoing stories keeping people talking. Shows the engagement goes way beyond just the matches themselves.
Yeah, the narratives are key.
And the recommended content, wow, it's a proper goldmine. Anyone who's ever fallen down a YouTube rabbit hole watching old games at 2 a.m. knows what I mean.
I think we've all been there.
Full match replays like England XV v France XV, classics like South Africa v British and Irish Lions 1997, second test the vaults. You have to watch that one.
An absolute epic.
Behind the scenes stuff like The Opportunity of a Lifetime, Wallabies All In, Episode 1, debates about best ever Lions performances. And even little audio or video snippets like how Dan's farm got Lions prop Springbuck ready. Those personal stories.
Yeah, those little human interest pieces are great.
It's just this endless stream of fascinating stuff.
And this incredible range of content analysis, history, personal stories. It really just underlines the passion, doesn't it? The deep engagement from fans, from players, everyone involved.
Yeah.
It's not just a sport you watch passively. It feels more like a culture you immerse yourself in. It builds community, sparks debates, keeps the history alive, looks to the future.
This whole ecosystem lets fans dive into everything, from, the history of past Lions tours right down to what's happening in schools rugby. It kind of democratizes the knowledge and builds this amazing sense of community that goes way beyond just game day.
Absolutely. And look, if you're listening to this and feeling that rugby buzz, if you're intrigued by these strategies, the player moves, the global scale, then Rugby Obsession is definitely where you'll find more of these deep dives. It's your go-to for these insights. And hey, while you're thinking about it, why not drop a comment? Tell us what you think about this player release decision, or maybe share your own favorite rugby moment. We genuinely love to hear from you. So just to quickly recap our deep dive today, we've really looked at the strategic importance of player release decisions, especially during something as big as a Lions tour. Understanding those agreements, that tricky balance.
Yeah, the push and pull.
We've also touched on the huge global reach of rugby, all those different tournaments, how embedded it is in different countries.
A truly global game.
And finally, that amazing, rich content world that keeps fans hooked way beyond the final whistle, building that unique community feel. So why should you care about all this? Well, because digging a bit deeper like this helps you understand the complex dynamics, the sheer scale of professional rugby. It goes way beyond just the scoreboard.
Yeah, it really does.
It's about the agreements, the strategies, the player welfare, the global community, all the things that make rugby so compelling. It helps you become a more informed fan, appreciate all those layers.
And thinking about all that, it does raise an important question for you, the listener, to maybe mull over. How do these tour agreements, these player release clauses, how do they really impact team dynamics and the success of a huge series like the Lions Tour?
Good question.
Think about the long-term effects, not just for the national teams fighting for the win, but also for the domestic leagues, the overall health of the sport at every level. It's a balance, and getting it right or wrong has pretty far-reaching consequences for the game's future.
That definitely gives us something to think about. And we want to hear what you think. What's your take on the Lions demanding Wallabies players be released? Fair. Too much pressure.
Yeah, what's your view?
And what about your favorite Lions tour moments? Or just generally, what is it that makes you obsessed with rugby? Let us know your thoughts. And please remember to make sure you don't miss any more of these deep dives and thrilling rugby insights. Hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession.